When we left off, the Pantophage had partially damaged their ship slightly before they had thrown up their shields and found out that it was Jarrett on the attack. Ben took command and told the others to take evasive maneuvers and prepare for combat with the Pantophage. They began blasting once they got them in their sights, though Ben tells them to aim for just above the engines. Doing so, once they began to fire, Jarrett tried to get away from them as he unknowingly had his crew move his ship directly into the line of sight of the blaster fire of Ben's ship so that their engines were taken out. Though a couple of space bikes then launched from the Pantophage ship and began trying to blast where the hull was weakened. They continued beating on the shield from that part, trying to bust their way in with the blue one, cranking her bike and making it jut a spike out from the front before ramming it through the shield with it cranked to max, busting through it as she jumped off, out of the way of it crashing into the wall and busting a hole into the side of the ship. The blonde then offered the blue one a lift as they then boarded the ship along with the red one, who appeared to be the leader, as she called out for them to spread out and look for Tennyson, though they heard someone telling them no need for that, coming across Diamond Head, who'd recognized the red one as Rojo. He questioned why she was out there and they told him that they were offered a lot of money to take him down, though Ben warned that Jared didn't have that kind of money to take him down. She then laughed, saying that fat ass wasn't the one that was paying her. He questioned who was, and they heard a voice saying that it was them as they were blasted in the back. Turning, we see Eon as they blasted Ben again. Though he tells Eon he's a slow learner, Diamond and Crystals don't like to age before throwing up several large crystals blocking off the paths of the girls before charging after Eon, slamming his fist into his head, knocking them back before throwing them into the crystals behind him. Eon then told Ben that he's not as slow a learner as he thinks, as purple energies appeared around them, and the three biker girls then appeared and began blasting at Ben as he started firing small crystals at the four of them. The battle continued onwards as Ben put up large crystals around the hole in the side of the ship to stop the vacuum of space from continuing to bother them. The four laughed and charged at Ben, firing all kinds of weapons over and over, with Ben putting up another, though smaller, wall of crystals to protect himself. The villain and the girls all laughed in response, asking if he was hiding, though he responded that he wasn't, then told them rule number 1, always mind your surroundings, as he gestured above them. Looking up, they saw a strange disc floating above them, pointing down directly at them, followed by powerful sonics pushing them down onto the floor of the ship, as the pressure from the sound waves were too strong to fight against, though that didn't stop them from trying. Eon managed to throw himself from the sound and used the wall to slowly help him stand up, and began to get up, preparing to get out of there, though the blonde and blue-haired girls began trying to convince Eon to take them with him. He figured they could be of use somehow, and so the three of them vanished, with Ben telling Reverb to let up. Rojo angrily shouted out, calling Armorillo and Azul cowards and traitors, saying that she could handle this alone, and began trying to fight Ben while disoriented, but he just kicked her legs from under her, telling Rojo to give it up. She's not gonna beat them anytime soon. She screamed in anger but knew that he was right. The biker then began to yell that she was going to wring the necks of those traitors and Eon for screwing her out of a sweet deal. Reverb suggested she join them if she wanted to get her hands on Eon. That's why he joined up personally as well. This made her pause for a moment and consider it, though Ben said that she's not joining until he hears an apology for what happened back when he was a kid, and began walking off. Rojo didn't remember what he was talking about and questioned if the sound guide knew anything about that. After telling her that his name is Reverb, he says that he could pull up her file and find out, and she asked him to do just that. With a nod, they then go to do that, and after finding out what she'd needed to apologize for, they went to find Ben. Finding him speaking with the rest of the crew, Rojo sighed and said that she apologized for what happened to Ben's grandfather, and would like to join the crew to get at that bastard Eon. Nodding, Ben then tells her to get her bike out of his hallway for starters. Gwen asked if Ben was sure about this, but he says that he's simply listening to what Paradox told him to do and began checking the damage to the ship besides the hull. Luma asked how bad it was, and Ben tells them that they're gonna have to find a repair shop, and the only one close by was somewhere he really didn't want to go. When the Tetraman Princess asked why, he pulled up an image of the planet in question, as if that was an answer. Garlax then put his hand on his face, slowly moving it down his chin and tentacle-like beard, letting out an annoyed sigh seeing the planet. Sitting in front of them was the planet of Vilgaxia. Really, they didn't have much choice, so Ben began hailing the planet. At first, they got static, but soon Vilgax appeared as Garlax had left the room. Ben then requested permission to get their ship repaired, telling them that they had an encounter with the Pantophage. Vilgax told Ben only because he owes them for help with the incursion, and that they could come down to the planet for repairs for their ship and dock at port space number R17-B before cutting the feed, as they heard a little girl's voice asking to play too. Ben laughed, though Luma and Reverb were confused as to that.